coming up will be Vincent Van Gogh versus Tommy La Salsa Garcia. And yes, his name is Vincent Van Gogh in the DR, which for me, I thought that was a made up name. We asked him, hey, who came up with your name? Like, did you change it? He goes, no, my father. My father's name is Vincent Van Gogh. We're like, are you kidding me? Wow, okay.
Great story.
At least you know there's no repetitive names in any type of classroom here.
True.
And we see Vincent Van Gogh versus Tommy Garcia, brought to you by Arturo Fuentes.
Second fight of the night.
Yes, sir. And we're moving fast so far.
I got to tell you, it's been different since the situation with the coronavirus. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this. When you're fighting in a big crowd, it's a different type of momentum.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue. Please welcome the blue corner.
Bueno, señoras y señores. Y ahora
como les dice Van Gogh,
now walking out to the cage, we have Vincent Van Gogh making his professional debut here in the Dominican Republic. He is a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and he is a very good blue belt at that. Probably should be promoted after this fight, but he is always looking for submission. His last fight as an amateur, he won by rear naked choke, and he tends to do that, or he wants to do that again tonight.
Well, we'll see what happens here with this situation.
What's up, champ? How you doing, man?
So, like,
Good? Good luck, brother.
un peleador tan peligroso.
Fighter from the DR, and little do we know, he's actually an Olympic level wrestler. So when it comes to jiu-jitsu, we look at Henry Cejudo. Even though Henry Cejudo, when he first started off his career, he might have not been the most exciting fighter, and he did take people down, but he was able to stop every jiu-jitsu attempt because of how strong he was on top.
well, that's that everyone knows that a good wrestler has the power to sustain you and keep it where he likes if he's really good at wrestling. But we also know that good jiu-jitsu artists can transition. Should be an exciting fight. Tail of the tape looks pretty even as far as age, height, weight, and reach. Vincent Van Gogh will be his first professional MMA fight. And Tommy Garcia, I'm sure, has plenty of experience in the wrestling.
You know, he said he's also a good wrestler. He's wrestled in the Pan American Games. You know, he's wrestled the France World Championships, Olympic level wrestling. He's ready to put on a performance. Now, will it be a dominant performance on top where he's putting the pressure and able to implement maybe his own submission or strikes, or is he going to lay and pray? Depends on his game.
Is 3 rounds in the featherweight division, sponsored by Arturo Fuentes Cigars. Introducing first on the blue corner, weighing in at 145 pounds in his debut on the octagon, from the Dominican Republic, Vincent Van Gogh Lodewick. And weighing at 145 pounds, with a professional record of 2 victories and 1 loss, from the Dominican Republic, Tommy La Salsa Garcia. Our referee in charge, Oliver El Veterano Cruz.
These fighters ready to go. We see Vincent Van Gogh starting in that spider stance.
I really feel Tommy Garcia is going to really work on his striking. He might be a little bit afraid of the BJJ submissions.
And beautiful leg kick to start by each other. Sometimes a little copycat in the beginning. But Vincent Van Gogh seems very, very relaxed, especially against a high-level grappler.
Well, you know, if I knew I was fighting a grappler, I wouldn't want to be against the cage, only because you would allow them to have the fence to take you down at any time. You and I both know, at the center of the ring, you look for the takedown, you have a better time to defend the shot.
You know, and he looks like he moves straight back, which we see Tommy immediately is able to get him down. But Vincent is actually very good off his back. One of the things he said is, I can see myself getting a nice triangle submission for the finish. And we see that he's comfortable. He's not trying to get up. There is no panic in his eyes.
Do you win a fight like that, though?
You don't. You definitely don't. But in the beginning of the fight, you know, you want to test the water, see where it goes. And he explodes back up, and he's more than happy to strike. But we see Tommy going to his game.
Which he's always going to do because he's a wrestler. And at the end of the day, you're going to go with what you know best, and that's wrestling. If you fight not to lose, that's not fighting to win.
Yes. And we see that Vincent's he's not nervous at all. He's comfortable on the ground. He had a nice collar tie, keeping his opponent's head down, and he wants his opponent to play the game. Yes, it's a wrestler versus BJJ guy, and a very dominant wrestler at that. But Vincent seems very composed and more than happy to see where this fight goes.
I mean, for a guy who has no fights experience, he's in there pretty nonchalant,
Yeah.
so to speak. I mean, listen, you're starting to see a lot of these opportunities from such as like Fighting Force, you know, and you're seeing the Latin fighters come up.
And the ref stands it back up, and we see them go. The only problem is Vincent Van Gogh immediately puts himself to the cage.
Maybe
Oh,
he feels very
beautiful.
comfortable there. You know, I always know aggressiveness, damage, control. These are things you need to win a round or win a fight.
And Tommy throwing nice leg kicks, but Vincent just keeps moving straight back to defend anything. So when it comes to the takedown, I think Tommy can take him down anytime he wants, but he's also a little timid about that BJJ game.
Listen, if I was a BJJ guy, right now I'd be working on the submission. Only because as this fight goes on and you start sweating, those submissions are not going to be as fresh. You and I both know that.
And so far, oh,
Poked him in the eye. We're going to have to see a replay on that. I didn't get to see that.
I'll say the ref wasn't able to see it, but usually, you know, you never see a fighter go, hey, he poked me in the eye. Ref, we need to stop this fight.
You know, the one thing I've always was taught is that you're not really supposed to communicate unless the ref sees it, only because then it looks like you don't want to fight. It does see some redness though in the eye. You could see that he definitely was probably poked.
Nice jab by Vincent. And they both seem pretty calm. Vincent seeming like the calmer one out of the two. But he
Nice
keeps
kick.
moving straight back, and that's the problem in this fight so far. Oh, beautiful.
Nice
leg.
liver shit.
Yeah,
It was
wow.
a nice liver kick.
And this has now become a striker versus striker matchup.
You know, when you get at the level of wrestling and BJJ, sometimes you have to go with something else.
Man, Tommy's throwing those haymakers and literally barely missing those shots.
Great job by the matchmaking, putting on decent fights where it's entertaining for that matter.
And we see him mixing it up, doing a nice little clinch. Under tie with collar tie.
Nice
knees.
knee, missed it. Overhand right.
Oh! Now is he able to take the back? That's
Vincent
what he's trying
Van
to
Gogh.
do.
Vincent Van Gogh
Oh.
hit him with a nice shot. It could be over.
He's
He's
taking
still
it back.
fighting on. It's still fighting on. The referee might step in.
Oh, this is over.
And
Wow.
Vincent Van Gogh with the knockout.
Beautiful job. Beautiful job by Vincent Van Gogh. Staying calm, composed, landing those strikes.
You know, you did call it a little bit. You said he was very
Amazing job.
composed.
And I think that was the biggest thing. Tommy Garcia kept on throwing those haymakers, which he was so close. But Vincent Van Gogh, knowing to stay long enough, knowing the distance that he had, and landing those strikes perfectly, not even trying to rush the finish or take the bag or implement jiu-jitsu. He kept this a stand-up fight, and I think because of that was able to get the finish. Amazing job.
Great job.
Vincent Van Gogh, in his professional debut, gets the win.
1-0.
Who said BJJ guys can't strike?
I tell you what, being against the cage, being able to strike and hit from your hip, you know, you and I both know that that's not what we've been taught, but it made it work for him very well.
And
Good
we see a
strike.
Beautiful right hand uppercut. Drops Garcia.
Very relentless. Keep going and forward. Didn't get on top of him. Just kept it very simple. Just going for the strikes. Great job. Definitely have to look that over. You and I both know when you take your loss, you always go back and study your tapes, and it's gonna be a tough one for him to
Yes, it is.
swallow.
And we bring it inside the cage for the official announcement. Oh, they're going to look at the opponent a little bit just in case and make sure he's healthy, to make sure he's okay.
He's got a little cut under his left eye.
And we see a nice little warm mark, a nice little shiner, and that's part of the game. You know, you learn from that experience.
We both know everything is happening because of your training camp, and you can definitely tell that he's had some experience training with his guys, and it paid off.
Super calm.
Yeah,
Super
very
calm,
relaxed.
and that's amazing.
Yeah. You and I both know is fighting on the beginning of the card is not always the best, but you get it done with.
And we go to the official announcement.
Minutes of 55 seconds by knockout, Vincent Van Gogh Lodewi.
Le pone número.
Honestly, a great job, exciting fight. Two young athletes have an opportunity to go back and look at the tape. I tell you what, I would definitely like to see this fight maybe in a year or 2 years from now.
And see how much both their games have improved.
100%. Entertaining.
Now time for the very first ever professional women's MMA fight here in the DR. Again, like I said earlier, you have Valentina Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, up-and-comers like Jillian Robertson, and so many more. These women are finally getting the opportunity to showcase their skills, not just in the DR, but live around the world on UFC Fight Pass.
Big opportunity.